Hi friends, Kate Smith Course here. I'm a Reiki master and a tarot intuitive, and every week I do a weekly energy reading where I discuss any messages that I've channeled from the collective angels, guides, anybody that wants to come through with special messages. I tap into the cards that I pull, whether that be tarot or oracle or a combination, as well as some astrological things that are going on in the week ahead. So this week, there's not much that I want to talk about this week, but it's kind of this continual energy from last week. So last week, headed into this week, we had Mars and Jupiter conjunct. They were both in the sign of Aries. And so it was kind of this energized feeling, right? So it depends on where your placements are in your birth chart, really, that could have that affect you in different ways, I should say. But some people, I feel like they were really either amped up in that they were trying to sort through their emotions. They were getting fired up. Maybe I also heard jumping to conclusions for some of us. Choosing new beginnings, because we also Monday we had the new moon in Gemini, which the energy you'll still feel today. So if you didn't do any type of ritual or manifestations, intention settings, anything like that, no worries, we still have plenty of time. So I heard that some of you might have been either jumping to conclusions or trying to jump into something new, or you really utilized this energy in a positive way to help you feel more fired up and energized to maybe start new projects that either you'd been avoiding or putting off. It kind of gave us maybe a spark of confidence. So some people, you might have noticed, have been either a little bit extra, or maybe they're transforming maybe their looks or the way they present themselves. There's kind of an air of fired up, started up, and a little bit of this transforming energy. And so I definitely felt that. I pulled some cards and I got the Page of Wands and the Knight of Wands. And this is that fired up, startup energy. So some of you have maybe been feeling that, and that's kind of continuing in this week ahead. I see some of you outdoors traveling. I see like this split in the energy where it's almost like half of you are like, I am tired of the house, I just want to go out and about. I see you walking along or hiking along waterfalls, or maybe doing like a day trip somewhere, something like that. And then the other half of you is like, I've had all of these projects around the house that I've been wanting to do for so long, and I finally have the energy to do it, and I'm getting stuff done. I'm fired up. So I feel that energy for some of you as well. We are in Gemini season, and we also have Mercury retrograde. Now it is going to be ending on June 3rd. So it's coming to an end. Many of you are already aware when we feel the energy of Mercury retrograde, sometimes it's this breakdown of communication. And what I mean by breakdown is that sometimes there's delays. There's an air of maybe not communicating effectively, technology issues, travel issues. These are just things that can be expected. Doesn't mean that it's going to happen, but there's a higher probability of it happening in Mercury retrograde for sure. So what this really means is when a planet goes retrograde, it's this slowing down so that it appears that the planet is going backwards. So it's not actually going backwards, it's just this slowing down. And that's what it really calls for us to do as well. Slow down with our communication. Be really conscious or conscientious, I guess, when it comes to our thoughts, travel, communication, connecting with others. It's calling for us to slow down in those areas. Put that stop sign up in your head before you word vomit that thing that you probably really shouldn't say. Gemini season. Gemini is, I can see them potentially being those people who are a little bit blunt, unintentionally. But they also, I feel like they very easily get to the point where they don't feel like dealing with the bullshit anymore. And they are communicators. They're one of the most social. They love making connections with people. So we could be feeling that energy as well, wanting to make special connections, being more open-minded, gaining perspectives from other people, but also understanding that other people's perspectives do not have to define our perspective. We don't have to line up with other people's. We can have different points of view and still show each other love, right? So I think that this also comes into place so we have Pluto retrograde happening. This has been happening since April and going into October as well. So Pluto is a planet of change and transformation, shakeups. It's really calling for us to look at the patterns in our lives. And with Pluto going retrograde, I've talked about this in several videos in the weekly energy reading, but I feel like it's probably because of this Pluto retrograde energy where we are looking at the patterns, the ideas that other people have had for us, maybe the ancestral patterns, and we are starting to slow down. We are being more conscientious with our thoughts and how we are presenting ourselves, the choices that we're making and how it plays out in the world. That just because other people had these ideas for us does not mean that we have to fall in line with that. We create our own destiny, right? The choices that we make fully affect that. So with the Five of Swords, I feel like some people might be hurt when you are choosing some new beginnings, because I do feel like there is an air for new beginnings. Some people might be hurt by that, but I'm hearing the phrase, you do you, boo-boo. Like, seriously, worry about yourself. That's another phrase I'm hearing from the collective guides. Worry about yourself. Because some of us are really diving in mentally, emotionally into those patterns that we've seen in our family history, and we're trying to clear those out. And so don't be totally consumed by this, but just taking notice, slowing down and taking notice is sometimes enough to jumpstart a change, jumpstart a new beginning for us. We have the Fool card. So we had new moon, which is new beginnings, on a Monday. Monday is the day of the moon, so that's just magical in itself. So it just feels like it's jumping off new beginnings for some people. The crystal that I picked out for the week is Black Moonstone. This can be great to help regulate hormones. It's great for intention setting, working with the new moon. So Black Moonstone might be a good one to work with this week. The Devil card came up. We are undoing the chains that bind us. We are unwriting the stories that were written for us. We are writing our own story. And this can also be the connections that we have with others. Are we allowing others to control our choices because we're afraid that we're going to hurt their feelings? So we want to be conscious of other people's perspectives and opinions, but again, we're not being bound by those and the choices that we make. And also, this can be self-sabotage too. Becoming more aware of how we've been sabotaging ourselves. Is it the limiting beliefs, the things that we've been telling ourselves we're never going to be able to do, or situations we'll never be able to get out of? Are we having more of a pessimistic mindset? So this is reminding us to switch that mindset into something more optimistic, and then the future events will play out in a more optimistic way. Okay, so we also have the Four of Swords. So some of you, I'm hearing, slow down, Mercury retrograde is going to settle in the sign of Taurus. And so I'm hearing take a break from technology and get out into nature. Some of you might be thinking about signing some type of document or contract or sending an email or something like that, something to do with a contract. So maybe take a second look at that. There might be something in there that you've missed. So that's not going to resonate for everybody, but for some of you, just take a second look at that contract. That's what I'm hearing. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about was this oracle card that I pulled, because it's number 44 and it's called the Divine Matrix. So I feel that some of you have been seeing angel numbers or repeating numbers like crazy. So have I. So, maybe you're seeing fours. That doesn't mean that this is only going to resonate for the people who are seeing fours. This is going to resonate for everybody, hopefully. But angel numbers, pay attention to those and the events that follow from seeing those numbers. So maybe starting a journal. Gemini season is great for journaling. Start a journal, write down the numbers that you're seeing, the repeating numbers, and then what events start playing out after you see those numbers. So you will know specifically for you what those numbers can signify, because I feel like it's different for everybody. Your angels send everybody messages in different ways. So what this card is saying is, do you ever wonder how synchronicities have come together? These meaningful coincidences move life forward in ways we might not understand at the time. We can get trapped in the idea that the world is a place of separate parts with space between, because the true quantum spiritual nature of reality can be confusing. Imagine that everything possible under the sun is waiting to be claimed. You are not separate from what you desire to manifest. Everything is intrinsically connected within a vast living web of life. And it's funny because I've said recently several times what is it? I've said this phrase like 100 times. Something about, oh my gosh. It's gone from my mind. What a tangled web we weave, or something along those lines. I've said it like 100 times this week. And of course, now it's gone from my brain. Mercury retrograde. Anyway, everything is intrinsically connected within a vast living web of life, a divine matrix. Even that which you have not yet observed as part of your life experience is still connected to you. It remains dormant until you choose it. You choose your destiny, right? Life operates on life's terms as well. You don't live in a vacuum, so you are surrounded by a multitude of realities that were brought to life by others. So other people's choices affect you as well. These can surely affect you if you allow them to. But as your thread, your luminous life force, your courageous dream is part of the tapestry of life. You're being invited to be conscious of the pattern you are weaving. Isn't it amazing to know you have such power inherent in you just by being alive? You are powerful. The choices that you make, the things that you think are huge. They manifest into reality. So being more embodying more of that optimism, right, rather than the pessimism. You will see evidence of the truth of this divine matrix today. It is in you. What you do matters. All manner of miracles are waiting for you to lay claim to them. Ready? So I love that for us. I love the message that is within that divine matrix card, and I think that it kind of wraps up this whole idea that we are all connected. We have these connections to other people, and I think that's especially prominent in Gemini season and with our communications. And also, are we holding ourselves back? So just some things to consider, some messages from your angels. I hope you have a lovely week ahead. These were collective messages, so if you want a personal reading, please schedule on www.crystallizewithkate.com. Otherwise, I'll see you guys later.